Salutare! Tocmai ce am terminat TED Bulgaria și am ajuns la Plovdiv, unde prietenul meu Constantin Arghirov, un prieten vechi de pe vremea când mergeam la curse, are un super loc aici, se numește Sniper Tuning și face tuning efectiv pentru motociclete de pistă sau de stradă. Noi vrem să probăm alte lucruri, suntem un pic în zona de știință și tehnologie, vrem să vedem dacă această evacuare sport, o linie completă de evacuare pentru CRF 300L, care e Euro 5 2023 motocicleta, are vreun beneficiu, aduce ceva în plus motocicletei sau nu, spre deosebire de evacuarea normală, stock pe care motocicleta o are din fabrică. Se aplică tuturor modelelor de motocicletă Euro 5, vrem să vedem care e câștigul. Up some more HP to this bike?
Yeah, I think there will be some positive result because simply because replacing the exhaust system is probably the most common modification on any bike, and especially on Euro 5 homologation bikes, it's already so limited everything that just opening up the exhaust a little should always bring you some power. But it's also going to be interesting to test without the DB killer also. Just to see what this exhaust can bring compared to the stock one.
So you will do 5 runs with each one, and then we will check out the performance.
So the way that we're going to measure everything, just to get the bike stable, because from each run, let's say the tire is getting up to temperature, the chain, and the engine, everything. So we're going to do 5 runs, and we're going to take an average value from the 5 runs. Then we're gonna see the graph, we're gonna replace the exhaust system with the stock one, and then we're gonna do again 5 runs and get an average value again, and then these two graphs are what we're gonna compare just to get a very realistic result, to see the most closely what is the difference, because if we just make like one run, maybe the chain is a little cold or the tire, and the result is gonna be, if the result is very small, it's gonna be too little difference and not enough to measure.
Deci Constantin ne spune că are de făcut 5 ture cu fiecare dintre evacuării, o să le facă cât mai aproape de adevăr ca să se simtă diferențele și totodată el e pozitiv că o să câștige ceva în formula asta Euro 5 cu evacuare, pentru că el spune că doar dând la o parte evacuarea restricționată Euro 5 ar trebui să câștigi ceva. Hai să vedem, Constantin, la treabă! Let's go!
Yeah, let's go!
So, I will put you can stop it now. So it's getting hot in here. After 5 runs, we have some data. We have some graphics that you look at it and you understand something. I don't get it that much. There are numbers over there. Tell me, Constantine.
Okay, so just to explain briefly, this is why I said we're going to do multiple runs in order to get a good result, because if you see, this is the very first run. I'm just going to show to make it easier for the people. Just the horsepower. Okay. So this graph here is the horsepower on the rear wheel. Mm-hmm. So you can see, if I compare the first one with the second one, you can see like the first one is the thin one here on the bottom, and look how basically everywhere it's like lower. So this is because the tire, the chain, the engine, everything is still a little bit cold. So when we do the second run, it always picks up a little horsepower. And then if we compare the second run to the third run, it's basically the same. So you have completely no difference. So this is the important thing when you want to compare close things like the exhaust or even if you change the chain or whatever you want to check. It's important to make multiple runs. Like even if we check the second, third, and fourth runs are overlaid on top of each other, and you can see there is no difference anywhere compared to the first run, which is clearly lower than the rest.
Man.
So now we're gonna replace the exhaust. We're gonna do the same thing.
But tell me first, what was the maximum peak power of this CRF 300L on the dyno with this exhaust?
Okay, so with this exhaust, yeah, I obviously forgot the most important part. So we have to the engine, we have 26.7 horsepower, which is basically on par with the stock value, let's say.
Okay, they give it like 27 HP from factory. We have like 26.7 at the engine or rear wheel.
This is at the engine. So this is when you see me holding the clutch lever after the run is over. This is the dyno calculating the friction losses, so we can achieve like a credible value to the engine.
So it's not that much of a difference. No gain, no pain.
Well, in my honest opinion, I think there is like. We still need to compare with the stock one to get a real.
So you still believe that this one gains a bit more power?
Well, I'm not exactly sure because we still have the DB killer on the exhaust, which obviously for street use is not legal to remove.
Yeah. So what can you do?
I'm sure because just the opening on the back of the exhaust, if you remove the DB killer, is going to be larger than the stock exhaust. And in this point, I'm sure it's going to make more power. But this is the reason of this test is to compare what is legal to use on the road against the stock exhaust. So obviously, it's not comparing apples to apples if we remove the DB killer. So yeah.
So we go to removal right now.
Yes, we're going to remove the exhaust now. We're going to keep the bike, everything on the dyno. We're not going to move anything, change anything. We're just going to cool down the exhaust, obviously, first, because we don't want to burn our hands. Yes, and we're going to be back shortly to show you the second comparison, and we can go from there.
Quite heavy, huh? What do you say?
Yeah.
A small difference here.
Yeah.
So we fit the stock one back on the bike.
Heavy guy.
Heavy guy. The stock exhaust is on. Constantine, do your magic. 5 runs with the stock exhaust. Let's see which one is better.
Yeah. Let's do the runs and let's go.
Doar ce s-au terminat cele 5 ture cu evacuarea stock. Hai să vedem ce am obținut, pentru că Constantin mi-a zis că e un rezultat interesant. So you said we have an interesting result.
Yeah, actually the exhaust basically give us nothing. So the peak power is the same. Actually, with the open exhaust, we have the best result, 26.7 horsepower engine power. With the stock exhaust, we have 26.6. So it's 0.1 horsepower difference between the open and the stock exhausts. But the interesting part is that below 5,000 RPM, the stock exhaust is acting a lot better. Actually, it gives us like 2.5 Newton meters more and about 1.5 horsepower more. You can see it on the graph here. We're also going to put it like a picture so you can see it better. But the first part of the graph until here, it's until 5,000 RPM. This is the horsepower, this is the torque. And you can see the thick graph is the stock exhaust. The thin graph is the open exhaust. So actually the stock exhaust is behaving better in the part where this bike is going to be like 80% of the time. However, after 5,000, from 5,100 to until 7,000, the open exhaust is giving like 1 horsepower more. And then when the bike is coming to the peak, it's evening out and it becomes the same. So more or less, the open exhaust without any tuning, not giving you any results which are worth it. Obviously, if you tune the ECU, it's going to be something completely different.
Deci Constantin a spus în felul următor. Rezultatul este într-adevăr interesant. Ce a observat el este că în zona de până în 5.000 de durații, avem acolo două grafice. Evacuarea stock a obținut mai mult cuplu și ceva mai mulți cai până în 5.000 de durații, care te ajută cumva atunci când rulezi pe off-road, pentru că ai nevoie de mai multă explozie să treci peste obstacole, iar în partea de jumate începe să recupereze evacuarea sport și crește un pic în putere, dar câștigul este de 0.1 cal, ceea ce înseamnă că fără să umbli la calculator, fără să mergi la un dyno center cum este cel al lui Constantin Arghirov de aici din Plovdiv, Sniper Tuning, poți să faci operațiunea asta doar trimițând calculatorul, poți să vii cu motocicleta până aici, îl găsești pe net, ai link-ul în descriere. Mie îmi place rezultatul, mă amuză foarte tare pentru că normele Euro 5 te vor ține pe loc chiar dacă ai evacuare sport sau evacuarea clasică pe care o ai de când cumperi motocicleta. Avem rezultatul, nu prea merită să dai banii fără să faci tuning la ECU. Clar. Mulțumim mult, Constantin. Thank you, Constantin.
Thank you.
Cheers.